Hey everyone! I'm very excited to share with you all my travel itinerary and experience from my family trip to Italy, from the historic streets of Rome to the romantic canals of Venice and the mouth-watering food in Florence. It's going to be amazing! In this video, I'll walk you through my full itinerary, tips on how I planned it, where we stayed, what we did, and of course, how much it cost. So if you're planning your own Italian getaway or just love travel content, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. This itinerary was for a 6-day, multi-city trip to Italy for 3 people. In those 6 days, my family and I visited Rome, Florence, Pisa, Venice, and finally Milan. Departure day. We flew from Washington, D.C. to Rome. Our cost to fly one way was $1,700 for 3 passengers. We traveled during high season. Day 1, Rome. After landing, we checked in the hotel, dropped our luggage, and headed out to see the Colosseum. I prepaid. The most comprehensive tour was offered and paid $300. This was the only event planned for the day since it took most of the evening. Day 2, Rome. We visited the Vatican and booked a tour that took us to the Vatican Museum and St. Peter's Basilica. The tour cost was $400. The biggest highlights of that tour were the tombs area where some of the previous popes are buried and the Sistine Chapel. After the Vatican, we took an Uber to visit the Pantheon. I would recommend booking a skip-the-line pass through your favorite online booking website. In my case, I use Get Your Guide phone app for all my bookings. The Pantheon visit can be as short or as long as you want to, but it shouldn't take you more than 40 minutes to go through the inside of the building. When we completed the visit, we took advantage of the restaurants surrounding the Pantheon to eat lunch. There's plenty of eating options to choose from around the area. After that, we walked to the Trevi Fountain. It is only an 8-minute walk. Here you can find many gelato shops. You can't leave Italy without trying gelato. Once we were satisfied, we went to have dinner and to rest for the night. Day 3, travel from Rome to Florence. After breakfast, we jumped on the train to Florence. The journey took about 2 hours. The price for train tickets was $180. We checked into the hotel, dropped our luggage, and headed out to the Galleria dell'Accademia di Firenze to see the statue of Michelangelo's David. After that, we walked to the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, also known as Duomo, and then Palazzo Vecchio, where we stopped to have lunch in one of the many restaurants around the plaza. We then walked to the Ponte Vecchio, had some gelato, and then off to the hotel to rest. Day 4, Florence. I booked a day trip that took us from Florence to Pisa. Once in Pisa, we visited the famous Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Pisa Cathedral, and the Baptistry of Pisa. After the visit was over, the tour bus took us back to Florence. The tour price was $249. Day 5, travel from Florence to Venice. We ate a good breakfast and headed to the train station to board the train for a 2-hour train ride to Venice. The passage was $178. Upon arrival, we took a water taxi, checked into the hotel, and headed out to walk around the city. There's just too much to see and eat in Venice. We hopped in a gondola, we drank some Aperol Spritz, and enjoyed the views and great food. Day 6, travel from Venice to Milan. In the morning, we headed to the train station to board the train that took us to Milan for our last stop. This was the farthest we traveled in train, and the trip took us 4 hours, and we spent $132. Once in Milan, we dropped our luggage at the hotel and headed out to explore the city. Our first stop was the San Siro Stadium. We then visited the famous Duomo di Milano, also known as the Milan Cathedral. In that same location, we explored the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele, which is a shopping mall and one of the most notorious landmarks of Milan. There you can find bars and restaurants in addition to luxury retail stores. To finalize our Italian trip, we headed to the Milan Starbucks Reserve Roastery, which according to the Starbucks Reserve website, there are only 6 in the world at the time of this video was made. If you are a Starbucks fan, this is a must visit. Return to the U.S. On the morning of day 7, we boarded a flight from Milan back to the United States to conclude our journey. The cost of the plane tickets for the return was $3,168. Remember, we traveled during high season. It is important to note that every time we moved within a city, we used Uber. The total cost for Ubers from the first day to the last was $470. It was extremely convenient, and I highly recommend this method of transportation. To book train passage from city to city, I use the Trinitalia phone app, which is very user-friendly and extremely convenient since you will be issued electronic tickets that you can show when requested straight from your phone. I typically purchase my train tickets the night before traveling to the next city. Traveling through train was a great experience, and we enjoyed great scenery. The train average travel time for most cities was about 3 hours, since almost all the trains traveling through big cities are serviced by Frecciarassa train line, who can reach speeds of 300 kilometers per hour, and also offers internet and snack services, which makes it a very comfortable experience overall. We had the time of our lives. We visited some of the most famous places and landmarks in history, and maximized our 6 days in Italy, spending an overall total of $11,181 for the entire trip. Completely worth it. There might be a cheaper way to make the same trip and schedule, but this is what worked for us based on our schedule. Hope this information gives you a good idea on how to approach your plan. Here's a detailed breakdown of the trip expenses, the full list of sites we visited, and the list of hotels we used and that I recommend for your stay. If you already traveled to Italy, share how did you plan your trip? Thanks for watching.